If you've been through an airport anytime recently, you've come face to face with some seriously advanced security tech. But here's the thing, there's a quiet revolution happening, and it's not in the machines themselves, but in the actual rule book that governs them. The European Union has just fundamentally changed the definition of what makes a security system safe. So, let's dive in and see what this new rulebook means for all of us when we travel.
Now, to make sure we get this right, our guide for this explainer is the expert commentary from Professor Vihar Kiskinov. We're going to break down his detailed legal analysis to really understand how this new law on artificial intelligence is completely rewriting the rules for aviation security.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at the old security framework. Then, we'll introduce the new AI Act and see exactly how those two laws connect. After that, we'll get into the new rules of trust, what they mean for everyone involved, and finally, we'll peek into the future of smart security.
All right, first things first, to really get why this new law is such a big deal, we have to look back at how things used to be, the old rule book that's been in place for years.
For a long time, the foundation of airport security in the EU was a law called Regulation 300/2008. You have to remember, this was born in the post-9/11 era, so its goal was really simple and direct: stop bad things from happening. The whole focus was on making sure the equipment and the procedures were standardized to stop known physical threats, like weapons and explosives.
This slide right here is where you see the huge philosophical shift. It all comes down to the question being asked. Under the old rules, the only question that really mattered was, does the equipment work? It was all about performance, detection rates, pure efficacy. But now, with the AI Act, there's a totally new and way more complex question. Can we trust how it works? The focus has moved from just the result to the entire process.
And that's what we call the black box approach. Seriously, think of it like an actual black box. Regulators didn't really need to know how the algorithm inside the scanner came to its decision. As long as it spit out the right answer, yep, that's a threat, it got the green light. The inner workings could be a total mystery. All that mattered was the output.
Well, that black box, it's about to get pried wide open. And the tool that's doing it is the brand new EU Artificial Intelligence Act.
You see, the AI Act is a really big deal. It's not just another set of technical regulations. It's actually trying to build a whole new foundation for technology, one that's based on core values. So yeah, it wants to create a single market for AI, but it also says that this AI has to be human-centric and trustworthy, and that means it has to actively protect our safety and our fundamental rights. So how does it do this? Well, it uses this clever risk-based pyramid. And here's the absolute crucial part for our topic, airport security equipment. We're talking scanners, biometric gates, anything making decisions that affect our safety or freedom is automatically and inescapably classified as high risk. That's not up for debate. And that classification immediately triggers the strictest rules in the entire law.
Okay, so you've got this old aviation law and this powerful new AI law. How do they actually talk to each other? Well, it all comes down to one single, incredibly important provision.
Meet Article 102. It might not sound like much, but its impact is just massive. You can think of it like a legal bridge that reaches back in time to directly amend the old aviation security law, forcing it to play by the new AI Act's rules.
And this is the magic phrase right here. In the world of EU law, when something shall be taken into account, that's not a polite suggestion. Nope, it's a command. It means that from now on, any new tech for airport security must include the strict requirements for trustworthy AI. There's no way around it.
Okay, so what are these new rules? I mean, what does it actually mean for a baggage scanner to be trustworthy? This table does a fantastic job of showing the move from that black box to what you might call a glass box. I mean, just look at risk management. Before, the only risk that mattered was operational. Don't mess a threat. Now, manufacturers also have to consider risks to our fundamental rights. And notice how things like transparency and cybersecurity have gone from being general best practices to becoming mandatory, non-negotiable legal requirements. It's a profound change. So what this all boils down to is that the burden of proof has completely shifted. It's now squarely on the manufacturers. They can't just sell a machine anymore. They have to sell a whole system that's built on a foundation of trust. And they have to prove it with everything from risk management plans to fair data usage to rock-solid cybersecurity.
And believe me, this isn't just some abstract legal thing that only lawyers and engineers need to worry about. These changes send ripples through the entire aviation ecosystem.
For the folks who actually make these machines, wow, this changes the game.
Your development team can't just be a bunch of engineers focused on performance anymore. Now you need data scientists to audit for bias, and even ethicists to weigh in on human rights. All of a sudden, trustworthiness goes from a marketing buzzword to a critical, legally mandated feature that can make or break your product.
And what about the airports themselves? Well, their whole process for buying new equipment has to be rewritten to demand AI Act compliance. And just as importantly, their security staff are going to need entirely new training. It's no longer enough to know which buttons to press. They have to be trained to understand the AI's limits and to know exactly when human judgment needs to override a machine's decision.
And finally, the regulators, the watchdogs. Their job just got way, way harder. Their old methods of just testing a machine's physical performance, that's not enough anymore. They're going to have to build entirely new teams with the technical chops to audit complex algorithms, scrutinize huge data sets for bias, and assess cutting-edge cybersecurity. It's a huge move from the world of mechanical engineering into data science.
All right, let's bring this all home. What does the future of airport security actually look like under these new, much stricter rules?
Here is the single most important takeaway from all of this. The very definition of a safe system has expanded. It is no longer enough for technology to be effective. It now must be provably trustworthy. A machine that finds every single threat but is biased, or opaque, or easy to hack is no longer considered safe under EU law, period.
This question is really what's at the heart of it all, and the EU AI Act is Europe's big attempt to answer it. By mandating that our technology must be as principled as it is powerful, it's setting a potential new standard for the whole world. The goal is to ensure that as our security systems get smarter and smarter, they are also hardwired from day one to be fundamentally fair.